There's really no other way to put it. Last night, we were scammed. Caitlin Clark played for 2 minutes, subbed for 7 minutes, played for 3 minutes, subbed for 6 minutes, halftime. Played for 2 minutes, subbed for 5 minutes, played for 3 minutes, subbed for 6 minutes, game over. Last night, we were scammed.
Last night, basketball fans around the world got played. There's no other way to say it. Caitlin Clark took the court for 2 minutes, got benched for 7, came back for 3, then sat for 6. This pattern repeated all game long. Halftime didn't change anything. The Indiana Fever lost 106-92, and everyone watching felt the same thing: disrespected. Fans stayed up until midnight on the East Coast. West Coast viewers waited until late evening. People in Australia woke up at 3 a.m. for this. They cleared their schedules. They made time. And what did they get? A masterclass in how not to manage a franchise. Tonight we're breaking down exactly what went wrong and why this load management strategy might be the biggest con in women's basketball right now.
This is WNBA basketball right here. What we're about to watch right here. These people are getting paid. You have $1 million player, you have an $850,000 player, and you have an $800,000 player failing to convert a 3-on-2. Good grief. Let's take a look, shall we? Kelsey Mitchell driving. No contest whatsoever. No contest whatsoever. The distance between Kelsey Mitchell and Ari Atkins is the same distance between me and New York City. 40 miles. You know what we call that? Shout out to the Pope. That's called a bloopy nasty work. Monique Billings, $850,000 for Monique Billings.
Think about what fans do for this team. A person on the East Coast doesn't just casually watch. They're canceling plans. They're pushing back dinner with friends. They're choosing Caitlin Clark over their own evening. Someone on the West Coast is waiting until 7 p.m., and that's if they're lucky with timing. But here's where it gets worse. Fans overseas aren't sleeping. We're talking about people in Australia literally waking up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. just to catch the game live. That's not casual fandom, that's devotion, that's sacrifice. And what do they get in return? 2 minutes of basketball followed by 5 minutes on the bench. Rinse and repeat. The Fever organization doesn't seem to understand this fundamental reality. When you have a player that moves the needle globally, you have a responsibility. Not just as a team, but as an organization that's built an entire fanbase around one person's talent. These aren't random viewers. These are people who restructured their entire day around watching Caitlin Clark play basketball. And then she plays for 120 seconds. That's not load management. That's disrespect wrapped in a medical excuse.
They lost 106-92. Get the Fever healthy, priority 1. Caitlin minutes restriction, whatever. The absolute mind-blowingly terrible Yahtzee-like rotations are a goddamn embarrassment to the game of basketball. We're giving Dantas 20-plus minutes just to prove she was worth keeping over Prasad. What the F are we doing here? Yeah, we saw Dantas last night. We saw Van Tooten, Van Slooten, Van Hooten, Van how you doing, whatever her name is. We saw them both to prove to us they made the right decision. Sure glad you kept Dantas for the culture over a player who can move, play defense, and shoot. Great job. Trade CC already. Such a shit show with the coach and her BS. This team makes me sad. I don't even get mad anymore, just really sad. Shout out to the vet. It's hard for me to get mad and sad when I have such a great, when we have such a great time in the venue. It's hard for me to get mad and sad watching these games. We have a great time, cracking jokes, shooting the shit.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Here's what happened last night, and this is the part that makes no sense from any angle. Caitlin Clark played for 2 minutes. She got subbed out. 7 minutes later, she's back in for 3 minutes, then another 6-minute rest. Halftime comes, same thing. 2 minutes, then bench for 5. 3 minutes, then 6 on the sideline. This isn't a rotation. This isn't strategic substitution. This is someone actively trying to keep a player off the court while technically getting her minutes in. The thing about back injuries, which is allegedly why this load management is happening, is that they need consistency. They need rhythm. They need sustained play where your body can warm up and your muscles stay engaged. What doesn't help a back injury? Constant stopping and starting, constant sitting down, constant getting back up. It's the opposite of what medical professionals recommend. You know what would actually work? Play her Wednesday, rest her Thursday. Or rest her Wednesday, play her Thursday. Pick a day, commit to it, and let her body settle into a pattern. But the Fever aren't doing that. They're doing something that looks more like they're trying to prove a point while also saying they're protecting their player.
This was like watching the Kelsey Mitchell show. It's all about her never passing the ball and throwing up garbage until she stacks her point total. Such a disappointment. This is what you get when you're focused on culture instead of championships. Stephanie White, I will own this loss. Just kidding. I played CC and we lost. CC played just 12 minutes in less than 2-minute intervals. How the F is anyone going to get in a rhythm or warm up with this ridiculous rotation? Now, she didn't have a good game. She didn't play a lot, but to be honest with you, the shit was so bad, I couldn't even tell. Seriously. That's how bad last night was. It was so bad you couldn't even tell. Oh, you can't make it up. You can't make this up. Yeah, I turned it off after the first quarter because I knew exactly what was going to happen. Wild work. This is the worst managed franchise of all time. If an injured player can't give you over 5 minutes of consecutive play, do not play them. They literally played like they never played with each other before. I believe it, Bobby. I believe it, Bobby.
Stephanie White has a problem, and it's not actually about Caitlin Clark's health. The problem is her roster is broken, her rotations are worse, and she's trying to hide both of those facts behind medical decisions. Look at what happened on the court. You had players making decisions that defied basic basketball logic. Kelsey Mitchell drove on defenders with zero contest. The space between her and the defender was so large it was like they were playing different sports. Then you've got players making basic mistakes, turnovers where they should have been solid, defensive breakdowns where everyone seemed confused about assignments. The worst part, Stephanie White keeps rotating players in and out for reasons nobody can articulate. Dante's getting 20-plus minutes just to prove she was the right choice over another player. Van Tutten or whoever getting extended run to justify roster decisions. It's not about winning, it's about the coach validating her choices. That's a losing organization mindset right there. When your coach is more concerned with being right about personnel decisions than actually winning games, you're in serious trouble, and the fans know it. They watch a game where $1 million player can't get 5 consecutive minutes to actually warm up and play, and they understand immediately that this franchise isn't serious about winning.
Then they post Kelsey Mitchell's 29 points, 4 rebounds, and a loss. Do you know who posts winning? You know who posts players' stats in losing games? Losing franchises. Losing franchises, losing organizations, losing teams post individual player stats in games that they lost. Winning franchises are too embarrassed and ashamed that they lost to even try to spin anything in a positive manner. Kelsey Mitchell, 29 points. Kelsey Mitchell played over 30. If Kelsey Mitchell couldn't give you 29 playing over 30 minutes, okay. While everybody else is playing 16, 17, 18, 19 minutes, the person whose body actually broke down in the middle of a game last year, she gets free reign. Not a single competent person running your organization. I'm old enough to remember when Kaylin and Kelsey were the best backcourt in the W. She scores 29 on 33 minutes and loses by herself. Sounds like 2018, 2022. From today, I'm out of Stephanie White.
Beyond the load management drama, last night's game was just bad basketball, like offensively incompetent bad. You had a 3-on-2 break, not 2-on-1, 3 against 2. Basic math says the team with 3 players should score, 1 defender, 2 defenders, 3 attackers, someone's going to be open. But the Fever turned that into nothing. 0 points, a turnover, just gone. Then there's the layup attempts that get missed with 0 contest. A player 6 feet away from defenders, 5.5 feet point-blank range, and it doesn't go in. You're paying these players 6 figures, some of them nearly $1 million, and they're missing uncontested layups. They're running plays that generate nothing. The spacing is off. The execution is non-existent. It's like watching a pickup game where nobody's played together before. The scary part. According to comments from people who were actually at the game, this wasn't a one-game problem. This is consistent. This is how the Fever play night after night.
The Fever stepping on rakes in grand fashion tonight. Folks, you got 178 comments to 351 likes. The post of them losing, bad work. 394 comments to 380 likes. Only 380 people like this. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the Indiana Fever, they're not getting the engagement that they used to on Twitter.
Here's something that tells you everything about a losing organization. Kelsey Mitchell dropped 29 points on 33 minutes played. That's solid scoring. That's what you want from your lead guard. But the Fever still lost 106-92. They lost by 14. And what did the franchise do? They posted her individual stats. They celebrated her performance. They tried to spin the loss as well. At least Kelsey showed up. That's a losing franchise move right there. When you're serious about winning, you don't post individual player stats in games you lose. You're too ashamed. You're too embarrassed. Winning organizations look at a 14-point loss and think about how the team failed collectively. They don't look for individual bright spots to highlight. They look at systemic problems. But losing organizations, they post the stats and hope nobody notices that those stats came in a losing effort. It's actually worse than that. Kelsey Mitchell's 29 points required 33 minutes. Everyone else, they're getting 16, 17, 18, 19 minutes. And here's the kicker. Caitlin Clark's the one with the injured back, the one who's supposedly fragile and needs protection. She's getting the shortest leash in the rotation. Meanwhile, Kelsey gets free rein to play heavy minutes. It's completely backwards. If you're going to protect someone's health, you protect your most valuable player's health. You don't play your other guards heavy minutes while your star sits. That's not a basketball decision. That's something else entirely. Check the Indiana Fever's social media engagement lately. Their posts about the game last night, not getting the numbers they used to. A loss post got 178 comments and 351 likes. Their loss highlight reel got 394 comments and 380 likes. And here's the thing nobody's saying out loud but everyone sees. If it's not about Caitlin Clark, nobody cares. Post something with Caitlin, the engagement goes crazy. Post something about the rest of the roster, crickets, 7 people might type something, maybe it's harsh but it's real. The Indiana Fever built their entire franchise renaissance on one player. One player's talent, one player's ability to move merchandise, fill seats, and generate viewership. And now that player isn't getting meaningful minutes, the whole thing falls apart. The franchise doesn't have depth, not in talent, not in storylines. Not in fan interest. Everything is Caitlin, everything goes through Caitlin, and without her on the court playing actual basketball, nobody wants to watch. That's a massive organizational problem that goes way beyond load management. That's a sign that the front office hasn't built anything sustainable. They've built a star-dependent team in a league where that's incredibly risky. One injury, one load management situation, one coaching decision, and the entire fanbase disappears. That's not how you construct a winning franchise. And the Fever are learning that lesson in real time on social media. There's a difference between legitimate injury management and whatever the Fever are doing. Real load management looks like this. A player sits out an entire game. Both teams know it's happening ahead of time. Fans can plan around it. The organization is transparent about it. The next game that player's back and gets meaningful minutes to actually play and contribute. It's not a secret. It's not disguised as something else. It's honest. What happened last night wasn't that. That was a player getting rotated in and out so frequently that her body never settled into any kind of rhythm. Her back never warmed up properly. Her timing never clicked with her teammates. She never got into a flow state where she could actually impact the game. And the fans got to watch all of it happen in real time, which means everyone figured out what was actually going on. They figured it out immediately. The worst part is that this strategy doesn't even protect the player's health. If Caitlin has a back injury, the constant stopping and starting actually aggravates it. Your muscles need to stay warm. Your back needs to maintain engagement. You don't sit down every 5 minutes and expect your back to feel better. That's the opposite of how human physiology works. So either the Fever's medical staff is incompetent or something else is going on. Either way, it's not good. It's not inspiring confidence. It's not making anyone feel like this franchise knows what it's doing. Here's what everyone's wondering right now, and it's the question that matters most. Is the Indiana Fever actually trying to win a championship, or are they just trying to manage a star player while keeping the franchise relevant enough that people don't completely tune out? Because you can't do both, you have to pick one. If they're trying to win, then Caitlin Clark needs to be on the court in meaningful stretches where she can actually impact the game. Not 2-minute stints, not 3-minute appearances sandwiched between 6-minute bench sessions. She needs actual playing time where she can get into rhythm and play winning basketball with her teammates. If she's healthy enough to be on the court, she's healthy enough to play for more than 120 seconds at a time. But if they're just trying to manage expectations and keep the star just visible enough that global fans stay engaged, well, they're doing a great job of that. They're getting exactly what they want, a player who appears on the court but doesn't actually impact the outcome. A franchise that can say we're protecting her health while also saying, look, she played. Both things at once. That's not championship basketball, that's theater. The real question isn't about load management at all. The real question is whether Stephanie White and this organization have the ability to make difficult decisions. Real decisions, not comfortable ones. If Caitlin can't give you more than 5 consecutive minutes without her back falling apart, then she shouldn't be on the court. Sit her out completely. Be honest about it. But if she can play, then play her. Give her a real role. Give her real minutes. Because what they're doing right now satisfies nobody. Not the fans who traveled and woke up at 3 a.m., not the player who probably wants to actually impact her team's performance. And definitely not the bottom line, because the engagement numbers don't lie. People are leaving. The Fever have a choice to make, and they're running out of time to make it. Keep going down this path and even Caitlin Clark's star power won't be enough to fill seats. People don't show up to watch basketball theater. They show up to watch basketball, and last night that's not what they got.